Okay. Welcome everybody to our August 5th So What Zoomcast. And this is brought to you by our sponsors, Fox Chapel Publishing, Banyan Boutiques, and QuiltWoman.com. And of course, us and our guests, we're donating our time to make you laugh and have some fun, get away from the pandemic for a while. We are recording the program and we will post it on Friday on our So What Zoomcast. So if somebody missed it, you can go back and you can see what we did. I already went over the chat procedures and you'll be able to forward the questions. So my name is Linda Hahn. I am one of your co-hosts. And since it's our tradition to have something of a cocktail persuasion, in my glass, I have a very big glass for some reason. Today, I am doing a Malibu rum that has a little coloring of cranberry juice. So I know everybody will drink that. So I'm giving myself a ding dong. My co-host, because my co-host is my best friend of 25 plus years. What?
Sorry, too early for me. I'm still on the Coke Zero.
And Stanley. No vote for you.
I got to get my own ding dong.
So that's how it goes. Now, we're going to introduce our guest. She's a personal friend of ours, and she's also appraised many of my quilts. Mary Kerr lives in Northern Virginia. She is an AQS certified quilt appraiser. She's the author of several books that deal with vintage textiles. She's going to tell you all about that. She's a speaker. She's a teacher. She's also past president of the Quilt Professionals Network. And I think that's where we met, Mary. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay. So we're gonna turn you on, and we're gonna see what's in your glass.
Well, at the moment, I have water. I'm sorry. Okay, I will switch to Vodka Club after I talk to you guys. After.
So yes, well you might actually be pretty funny if you drink it while you're talking.
Well, some of the people that have just signed on, including one of my best friends, Kathy Metallica, and my sister Nancy, would tell you that I can be rather funny after I drink, which is why I have water right now.
Okay.
I have wine.
Oh, Nancy, you have wine?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I saw she was drinking, so I went and got some wine.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just muting everybody. You're gonna mute your sister.
Okay.
Everybody's muted. Okay. So Mary, let's start with. I'm gonna highlight you, and let's start with quilt appraisals.
Okay.
Why didn't it spotlight? There we go. Now, what do you need to be a quilt appraiser?
Well, I tested to become an appraiser in 2005. I took the initial coursework through our testing body is the American Quilt Society, and once a year they hold classes. I did that in 2002, and then I had 3 years of study. It is highly self-motivated. We realize that less than 10% of the people that start the courses or that take the courses ever complete the entire cycle. Once you are ready to test, you do a written test and then you do an oral test in front of a panel to make sure that you know how to appraise not only antique quilts, contemporary quilts, art quilts, quilts for donation, all different manners. So you have to know what the legal ramifications are, what our insurance companies are looking for, in addition to having knowing how to provide that appropriate value. What we do are legal documents. What would we have to pay to replace this quilt should it be damaged, lost, or stolen?
It's really important to have your good stuff appraised.
Well, it's really important to have anything that's important to you appraised, whether that is your antique furniture, whether that's your jewelry, whether that's your house, your car. If these are things that are irreplaceable, then yes, it is important. But everyone has to come at it from a different, their own perspective. What does your insurance company cover? Okay. Many times the insurance companies will pay for like in kind. Okay. In their mind, that's a blanket. You can buy one of those for $29.95 at Walmart. So if you believe your quilt is worth more than that, which most of them are, then in order to claim the full value, you have to have written documentation. It is not an inexpensive process. We now, our appraisals, the appraisals I do are $75 each. And that's kind of the middle of the road for what the appraisers, that certified appraisers are charging at the moment. So some of these things, if it is an important family piece, certainly you want that documentation. If it is going to be traveling, many times the shows require you to have these appraisals. If it's going in the mail, please do not put anything in the mail without having that written documentation. Again, the post office, if you cannot prove, what any of the carriers, if you cannot prove what that quilt is actually worth, you're not going to get anything but what the like in kind replacement, a blanket.
Do quilts change in value when you appraise them? Like you did my first New York Beauty book cover.
Yes. Do quilts change in value? Depends. If one of the most important things is condition. Okay, if that was a quilt that you took out to, I know you didn't, but if you took it out to the beach and it faded, or Alan threw it in the pool or whatever, it's not going to be in the same condition that I first appraised it in. So condition is important. Also, for you, in your case, it's fame of the maker. That was your first book. You and I knew who you were, and about a dozen of us, and we all thought you were wonderful. But you didn't have the following that you have now. And so in today's market, that would probably sell on a fair market value far more than when we did it, which was for a cost of new construction.
I was of the understanding, I could be wrong, are there different types of appraisals that you do?
Yes. And most of them are insurance replacement. What would the insurance company have to pay to replace your quilt? And in order to, that's one part. Another is donation. If you say, Linda, as you decided that New York Beauty was going to be donated to a museum, they were willing to take it, then that's a donation appraisal. And that has to be based on fair market value. There's three different ways of approaching this. One is comparable sales, and that's most likely with the antique quilts, like some of these that I have back here. What would I have to pay for a similar quilt in similar condition in today's market? Now, that's not saying that I happen to find it at a yard sale. That means, what am I going to pay for that quilt from a reputable dealer? The second is fair market. Okay, most of these are for our art quilts, for people that are selling in the market. What have similar pieces sold for? Many of our contemporary artists, they have, you can figure out how much they charge per square inch for similar pieces. Those factors those items are factored in. The most common thing that we do as appraisers is cost of new construction. Okay, you make this quilt because you just loved it, you like the pattern, you like the maker, you pull from your stash. If something happens to that, as to to replace it, we're going to have to go and start fresh. We're going to have to buy all that fabric. We're going to have to buy the pattern. We're going to have to pay someone to piece it. You do it because you love it, okay? But people in the industry who are being paid to piece, we can't pay them $5 an hour. You know, maids in Chicago make 20, probably more than that now. So we're paying them an appropriate wage. Then it's the cost of quilting, the cost of binding. All of those factors add up to what the insurance replacement value is. And many times that insurance replacement value for comparable, for cost of new construction is is more than anybody would pay you for that quilt.
Now, if somebody wanted you to appraise their quilt for them, you do take them by mail?
As an appraiser, you have to physically examine this quilt. So we tend to, I don't want you putting your quilt in the mail before it's appraised. Okay, there is a network of appraisers. If you go to my website, there's a link to AQS Appraisers and to PACT that will tell you where a local appraiser is. There are, in the state of Florida, I think you've got 7 of them. Other states have none. But finding someone local who knows what the local market is. In DC, I pay people more to piece these quilts than you do out in Arkansas, just because of the the demographics of where you are and what you're looking for. So you have to physically examine it. So I get emails all the time. Here's a picture. Can you tell me what it's worth? No, I can't. That's illegal. It's against the the Universal Standard Practices of Appraisals. That's I'd lose my license. I'd lose my certification. So you have to physically examine it. And usually that takes, if you're doing a written appraisal, it's about 30 minutes, taking measurements, pictures, getting all of the information. And then I go home and do my due diligence and do the research that's needed to put it into a legal official document with that.
And
Having
someone
said
would
all
get
that, most
something
appraisers have our code of ethics. If a piece is worth less than $200, I'm not going to appraise it. It's not, I will tell you, it falls underneath of the realm of this makes sense for you to appraise.
Would it be worthwhile for somebody to have their quilt appraised, not so much for value as to find out more about it? If it's a family piece and you don't know when it was made or what it, that kind of thing. Is that?
Yes, and that is something that some of us do as appraisers, and I do individual consultations where you just pay to pick my brain, or I do what is a verbal evaluation. 10 minutes. I'll tell you what it is, what the date, when it was made, anything that I can give you on that, and you are taking my 25 years of experience and applying it. It's not a written thing, but it can tell you, if you said my grandmother made this in 1863, okay, well, that pattern didn't come about until 1924, and I can show you, I can kind of get the stories straight, tell you what, evaluate the fabrics when it was made, because like our cars, we can tell the difference between a 1924 Ford and a Ford F-150 because of the components that were used to make those. They're both trucks, but they were made at very different times.
All right, you guys can start firing your questions into the chat. Now, Mary, you also work with vintage textiles on that note.
Yes, that is some of my love. That is something that I have been doing as long as I can remember. When I started writing books, and I'm working on my 8th book right now, but most of those involve vintage textiles. I wanted to see what we could do with some of those pieces that were throwaways, those odd and ookies, like, what do I do with this? Or why are we keeping this? Some of my early pieces, I was taking, like this one is called Let's Boogie. Okay, it's a vintage linen. It's pretty small. okay, but it uses scraps of a grandmother's flower garden piece that was falling apart. Shannon Shirley did the quilting on this, and she wrote "Let's Boogie" all the way around it. So it's taking some of those pieces and say, how can we incorporate them into something that we can hold on to and that we can keep. Some of them, and I just pulled this one out because my buddy Debbie Kaufman signed on here. I haven't seen who else is on there, but Debbie does quilting for me. This, if you look at the back, okay, see this 9-patch? I'll move my head. See that 9-patch? My grandmother pieced those in the 1980s. She worked at a bowling shirt factory in Kansas, and when she died in 2005, we had a number of tops that had never been finished. Well, my parents waited about 10 years to gift them to me. I think they wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing. So I took those pieces and I took them apart, and this is a series that I'm doing, but this is one that Debbie did the quilting on. Can you guys see that? I took those 9 patches, I pieced this. The 9 patches with fragments of this top, and Debbie did this amazing quilting. I don't know if you guys can see some of her work. Isn't that cool? So that's one that Debbie did, and this is a series that I'm working on. I hope to have about 18 to 20 pieces for this. It will be part of an exhibit that is at the Virginia Quilt Museum coming up next year. So what I'm doing with these vintage pieces, and I'll share some of them with you, I'm taking what should be throwaway, okay? This is a top that is so thin you can see through it, okay? But I wanted to use those orange pieces. So I have a top that I made that is at the quilters right now, but then I took other of these orange peel and I put them together in this pillow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. I took the leftover orange pieces here, cut them apart, put them together into this pillow. Part of what I'm working on with this next book, it's how do we use smaller and smaller pieces of that? These were left over from a big project. And then these little bitties, these I call cracklin mats. This was left over from these. So giving us the opportunity to use smaller and smaller pieces of those. One of the things that I've been working on, especially with this is a quilt called Shelter in Place. You guys see that?
Oh, so cute.
This is called Shelter in Place. This was one that was supposed to be at the IQA exhibit in Houston. It got accepted into that. But now we're going to be doing it virtually, and there is a book that's being put together from these. But you can see that I took a house block, star blocks, and then these are called hands all around blocks. And using mourning print, which mourning is the mourning like Queen Victoria was in mourning, around the black. So that was the first one. This one was just finished this week, and it hasn't been quilted yet. This is called Social Isolation. Again, using the house block with fragments of three or four different quilts. So I'm loving the opportunity to play with some of these. Sometimes though, we get, and where is that place on here? I'll find it.
When you're ready, you're starting to get some questions.
Okay, well, hold on. Anyway, there's a place on here that was coming apart, or that was very thin. The fabric was very thin. So what I did was to actually, here it is. See, this particular square was starting to shatter, okay? But the rest of it around there was really in good shape, okay? If I think it's gonna fall apart, I don't use it. Okay, so what I did, because I just wanted that, was I fused the same color on the back. What it does is give it another layer of protection with those. The hands all around blocks that I was playing with were simply a set of blocks that had never been finished. Okay, and if we look at these, there's reasons they were never finished. Okay, you don't have a single straight edge. If we seam into these, we're going to lose our points. Okay, but when I showed you this one, did any of you notice that? Well, some of you might have. But so I took the rest of those, and this one just got, this border just got put on this morning. I took more of those. Mix those hands all around blocks with other star blocks, and then this funky border, they just had circles on it. And so this one will be going to be quilted soon. So those are some of what I'm playing with, some of what I'm working on now. I love the opportunity just to share these pieces, to play with some of the vintage things. The pieces like you see behind me, homespun on the door, that's another one that Debbie Kaufman did. It's called Let Me Count the Ways. I have some that are here behind me. All of these were part of an exhibit called Twisted, Modern Quilts with a Vintage Twist. What happens when we only have one little strip of fabric? What happens when we only have a small amount? How can we incorporate them into new textiles? So Linda, you said I had questions. Sorry,
Yes.
I talked too fast.
Joyce would like to know, do you ever reappraise a quilt's value?
Yes. Appraisals are good for 3 to 5 years. Okay. The appraisal that I did for you 15 years ago, it was a very different world then as opposed to now, especially when we're talking about our antique quilt market. When antique quilts first started coming out of the closets and out of the trunks, you know, it was like, that's so cool, but and the values were high. And as we find that there are 1,000 of them just like it, the value goes down. So that's why we encourage people to have their collections appraised, you know, every 5 years. And the other thing with that is sometimes the insurance company will depreciate it based on the date of the appraisal. So you need to know what your policy is and what your company is going to do.
And as you gain prominence, does that make a difference as well?
Yes, sometimes. Sometimes depends how, you know, depends how wide your circle is and how willing your students or the museums or any are willing to pay for your work. You know, there are artists with a huge body of work that nobody's ever bought anything. Okay, well then that doesn't change. If I choose never to sell a piece, there's nothing for me to compare it to.
Okay. Kathy would like to know, where do you find your vintage textiles?
Anywhere and everywhere. I do a lot. I'm the one these are all coming from those boxes underneath of the tables at antique shops or yard sales or thrift shops. I do look on eBay. Right now it's a buyer's market. People aren't, you know, if you want to buy something, now's the time to do it because nobody has any money. Or they're not purchasing those. I often get, you know, friends give me things. I like working with my family pieces and adding to them. So it just little bits and pieces everywhere. There are high-end dealers that are selling really nice things. That's not what I'm working with. I'm working with pieces, especially in these kind of quilts that I just showed you, that are damaged to the point that I don't mind taking them apart. I give myself permission to take them apart.
Okay. Kathy would like to know, what do you use for backings on your quilts, old or vintage?
Whatever matches, whatever I want, really. I like incorporating the vintage there if possible. But sometimes a new fabric works better. I just had one that I just sent out that I used. I took apart a dress that had been my grandmother's, took it apart and repieced it back together to make the backing. It was not remarkable. It was not, you know, it was just a dress that was falling apart, but I could put it together and know that that family piece was on the back. And so try to be appropriate with that. Other times I just want to use up all of the fabric. Like this one, this is a new fabric on the back of Shelter in Place. This was new black and white fabric. It worked. It was quick. I just, you know, it worked for me.
Hey, Debbie would like to know, do you have any tips for vintage quilts that smell or cleaning them?
Yes, yes. The first thing, you want to try the least invasive thing first. If it is the smell, I recommend a bar of Safeguard soap. Okay, just the white old soap. Unwrap it. I wrap it in a paper towel then, a white paper towel, and put it in the bottom of a plastic trash bag. And then I put those offensive textiles in there with it and tie it up for 24 hours. Take it out and see. Many times those musty smells go away. The smoke smells go away. And sometimes I have to do it a couple of times, but I have had excellent luck with that. The next thing, if it's grimy, okay, there are products, Orvis soap, which is the horse soap, is perfect, and it's a whole lot less expensive than what you buy in the quilt store. If you have something that is white that you want to brighten back up, there's a product called Retro Clean, RETROCLEAN. You can buy it directly from their website, or Checkers carries it, so your local quilt shop could order it. Their directions are fabulous. They're easy to follow, and it really does brighten back up those, you know, those dresser scarves, those linens, those things that are yellowing, including quilts.
Millie would like to know, do you ever try to repair old quilts, or do you always repurpose?
I have done restoration and repair since 1987. So it has to be in pretty bad shape before I will take it apart. That was a business I had when my children were young, and I have continued to do that. I do restoration work for the DAR Museum here in DC. I have done numerous private collections. So yes, if at all possible, I will restore a quilt. I don't like taking them apart, but sometimes the damage is so bad that it would destroy the integrity of that piece to replace all of what is damaged. And you know, if I have a top that is in really good shape, why not quilt it as is? You know, why not finish it as is and enjoy it that way? So the pieces that I shared with you, I didn't take any quilts apart. I didn't take anything apart. I just used what I had. And we come from a long line of women who didn't finish everything they started. So they're out there. They're there, whether it's your family pieces or some lady you adopted as your grandmother. You know, I want to give my students permission to use those pieces.
Do you ever use other types of textiles in your quilts, like say napkins or tablecloths, or you know, that kind of vintage?
Yes.
Things?
With my books, A Quilted Memory was my second book that I wrote, and it was using those dresser scarves, kitchen linens, pieces of old clothing. How can we incorporate that needlework from before into quilts? Recycled hexies, a lot of those pieces like this. Okay, this was a dresser scarf, or probably a kitchen linen that I incorporated into this. What else have I got over here? Like this one is a handkerchief. You know, so yes, you would be amazed what we can put into quilts if we try really hard. I'm working on one right now where I took a piece of needlepoint and I'm incorporating that with into a quilt. And it's interesting because it's so much thicker, and I'm having to add double and triple layers of fabric around it to get the consistency of space and design.
Michelle would like to know, do you find that the cost of vintage textiles depends on where in the country you purchase them?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, the Midwest has an abundance of these materials, whereas you go up into the you know, we had dressers in my family in Kansas. I grew up in Georgia, but my family's from Kansas. We had dresser scarves everywhere. We had doilies everywhere. We had all of these beautiful, beautiful things, even though they had very little money. When I go into homes up in New England, they have very different type of work, you know, more drawn work, or, you know, tapestries, those kind of things. So the area of the country you're in depends on what you're going to find, but also economically. I mean, if I go into an antique shop in you know, in DC, my prices are going to be much higher than if I go into an antique shop in Greenville, South Carolina, or in, you know, Greensboro, Georgia. And so that's, you know, I love traveling to guilds, to workshops, and I stop at antique shops along the way. One, they usually have clean bathrooms, and you can stretch your legs and support the economy, and then kind of see what's there. Sometimes you find some really interesting pieces.
Wow, cool. Cool. Does anybody else have anything for Mary?
I really, I get excited about the vintage pieces, because I think that, you know, we are that generation that are going to be receiving a lot of these pieces. And I want people, when they say, well, what do I do with them? Say, well, here's a whole lot of ideas. Here's this chick that's written a lot of books about these. You know, here's her website, that kind of stuff. And then part of it is just inspiring them, giving them permission. Let's do this. What are you going to lose? You don't have a huge expenditure of time or resources or materials. Let's start small and see what we can come up with.
What books are available?
All
and where?
All 7 of them are available now. Many of them, some of the local quilt shops are carrying them, or you can go to my website, which is Mary W. Kerr, put the W in there for Wilson, marywkerr.com. And on the very front page has all of the books that are available.
And we'll put that on our,
pardon me?
We'll put that on our So What Facebook page too.
Oh,
so
that'd be awesome. Thank you. The one that I'm working now is called Making Do, The Art of Unconventional Quilting. And so it's working with those pieces you didn't think would fit in, whether that is seed bags, whether that is a crazy quilt back, whether that is a quilt that was falling apart, mixing and matching, working with smaller and smaller pieces with that. So I'm excited about what we're doing. I've sent a lot of them out to be quilted. I do okay with quilting, but most of the time I quilt by check because it works really well for me. I can't keep up with everything that's in my head, let alone learn a whole new skill set. And I am surrounded by people that do absolutely beautiful work. So want to play with them.
cool. Excellent. All right. And that covers Pepper's question. What's next for you?
What's next for me?
Yeah.
There's a couple of things that are next. I'm working.
Okay.
Hi, Pepper. I'm working on that book. As we talked earlier, before we all got started, our industry has changed. Our industry is, you know, I'm not sure how it's going to come back. Part of my bread and butter was the exhibits that I had traveling. Now you see that all the quilts are in my house. The Twisted exhibit was scheduled to be in France this past spring. It's gotten rescheduled for next April, and I don't know that we're going to make it there. I'm not sure how we're going to do that. So we're looking at other opportunities to teach, whether that's through video conferencing, whether that's through classes online, or whether that's setting up a space, a retreat house where I can teach classes and not have to travel. And that's in the process, but hasn't been quite set up yet. We're hoping to launch that next spring.
Mary, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
This is awesome. I love you. I love you.
Oh, I love you too. So my very first book there were 2 pieces, Linda, or 3 in Vintage Revisited. Anyway, Linda did the quilting on it. So it tell you how long ago that was. When she was quilting for others,
yeah,
she finished a couple of my pieces, and I absolutely adored that.
And I did one for your daughter too.
You what?
Did one for your daughter too.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I remember. I had forgotten about that, but yep.
I just came across a picture of it the other day, which is how that jogged my memory. And it was bright. I want to say it was yellow or green.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I can even remember the colors. Can't remember if I took a shower today.
It was memorable.
The colors of a quilt I quilted 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
So.
No, but I think that it's the support of friends like Linda, or the others that are on there. Pepper, who's been so generous with all of us, Stevie. I think those friendships with Kathy and Debbie and those friendships are what are going to get us through this time. And I think that's important to share and to reach out. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys.
And we appreciate all of our guests who are donating their time to make us smile and to just give us a little bit about themselves to get us through this, because this is, it just sucks.
Yeah.
So there. Margot, don't leave yet. We're not done. So all right, I'm gonna move on, and I'm gonna see what Debbie's doing. We'll come back to you, Mary.
Okay.
Spotlight.
Gallery view.
Go get your whatever you're drinking.
Now I'm going to stick to water for a few minutes.
Okay. All right. Let me see what Deb. I'm not even going to ask you about your soda.
No, just plain old regular. I'm doing
Sorry.
I'm doing a sew along on the 13th of August. And this is, people had asked me what it was going to be, so I actually made a little sample. This is the mug rug that we are going to be doing. And if anybody's interested, it's on the 13th. It's free. You just have to let me know that you're coming so I can send you a little supply list, which is really very minimal. And then afterwards, there'll be a little
Eastern time.
That's right. Eastern time. We don't. Last week we had people signing in from California way after we were done.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And we did put out our August class schedule. We're doing 3 classes in August. You can sign up for those on our website, which is froghollowdesigns.com, in the store under virtual classes. And you're doing a market bag?
I am. This is the bag. It's very, very simple. And it holds a lot of stuff because I have used it many times. So if anybody's interested, that will be on Saturday, the 15th.
15th.
Mm-hmm.
Back to me. On August 20th is a fun scrap quilt. And 72 pair of and then this is the little one. And the New York Beauty of the Month is Peep Skill Peepers And see, they got little eyes. There's no girl on this one. They're all boys. The girl's on the other one.
Discrimination.
And I only have so many eyelash wiggle eyes. Okay. And we're making those with one pin. And they come out perfect the first time you do it. Because we have some magic that happens.
And how far in advance do people need to sign up for that so they can get a kit?
August 14th is the latest that my shipping department have had experience with him. You will. He needs to have time to get you your kit. The pattern is included with the market bag and Bermuda Sunrise. Now our August web specials is a book bundle. This is Mary praised this quilt way back when.
I remember that one.
Yeah, 2-book bundle. This is on the AQS top 10 bestseller list. Both of them are brand new. This one on Amazon, Boo Hiss, is $27 plus shipping. This one is $39 plus shipping. We're doing our web special because we have a new book coming and I have to get stuff out of my garage. 2 books, $40, brand new, plus, and shipping is included. I don't have a whole lot of these left. But these are out of print and your collector items on Amazon. Magazine, Deb and I have a quote called Carnival number 5, and that has my upcoming fabric collection is in there. I'll have it for next week. I have it for next week. We did some work, finally, and let me see if I can find her. We have our some fabulous guests coming up. Deborah Corey, hello.
Hello.
There we go, you're unmuted. You're coming next week.
I am.
Pending no hurricanes.
Oh, let's not do another one, okay? Let's just skip that. And for
Yeah.
anyone who was affected by the hurricane, my heart goes out to you. I know exactly what you're feeling. Wow.
You're going to talk to us about some sashiko.
Sashiko. Yep.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. I
Sashiko
can't wait for that.
on the back of this shirt.
Oh, nice.
Oh, very good.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I love
There you
sashiko.
go.
Good.
Now, then, where is she? Stevie. We're going to spotlight Stevie, even though she's not Matt. You're going to represent Road to California. We have Matt Reese from Road to California on August 19th, and he has a really big announcement to make, and he's going to make it with us first.
Yes, he is.
So we will be able to ask him some questions about what it's like to run a big quilt show. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Then the last week, let me find her if she's still on here. There she is. And then the last week of September, we have Miss Susan, who's not paying attention. You're on your phone. Hi.
That's funny.
She's unmuted. She's muted. Oh, there you go.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi.
You're going to talk to us about machine needles.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, so you are the, what's the date? You are the 26th of August.
Yes.
And then coming up in September, moving really far ahead, we have Carol Shaw, Krista Moser, and Patience Griffin. And so they're all going to have some good stuff. So we're working really hard to get you some really good guests for you.
With very diverse topics.
Yeah. Let's see. Darlene, can I get an invitation to your Zoom meetings from here on out? If you would like to subscribe to our Facebook page, it's So What Zoomcast, and it's always the same meeting number and the same password. So this is our room, and if you'd like to join us for Zumba, I do Zumba on this channel on Monday and Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern Time. Good. We're glad we're doing something for you. Yes, we have Michelle Crawford's on here, and maybe she'll think about coming on, because we still need to fill up September. Maybe Michelle will think about it. I see you. Okay. So that means if nobody has any more questions for Deb, myself, or our guest, that means, okay, we will, Michelle said she will come on. Millie, I see what you're doing. I know you know what's coming. That means,
Fill up your glass.
drank almost my whole glass of Malibu. That means it's door prize time.
Yeah.
So if you're going to participate in the door prize drawings, cameras are on. We are recording you. How excited you get. Okay. Who's here? Joyce Slip. Stevie, would you like to be quote woman again this week?
Okay.
All right. So we're giving last
I'm gonna hide my
chance for cameras on. Let me get my ding dongs ready. Okay.
I don't know,
Stevie's gonna pull for our sponsor, Quote Woman, and you will please post your email in the chat.
That's Cindy's iPad, who's now drinking something big.
Cindy's iPad. Oh, let's see. Cindy, so what
Yes.
is in your cup?
It's boring. Iced tea.
What do you think, people? Iced tea? Siobhan, wrong way. Iced tea?
Oh, sure.
Put your email in the chat. And that's for Quote Woman, Deb. All right, Mary.
Okay.
This door prize is one of my books, the Twisted books, Modern Quilts with a Vintage Twist. Let me go back to the gallery view. Okay, I'm supposed to go this way, right?
Yep.
You got one? Rhodey's phone.
You got her camera on?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. I mean, mind you. Nobody's phone. Where are you? There you are. All right. What's in there?
H2O.
And
Well, that's all right.
I'm
still
not
get a
even letting them
prize.
vote on that. Put your email in the chat, please. So
Thank
we can
you.
Get
I'll
it
be in
to
touch.
Mary.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, Deb.
Okay.
We got a real teetotaling bunch here.
Darlene Price.
Let me find you. Where is she? There you are.
Here I am. I was going to put my iced tea into a wine glass and thought, well, I don't know these people, so I put it into a regular glass.
It's regular iced tea, or is that Long Island iced tea?
Well, it's no, it's not long. It's Snapple. It's peach Snapple. Does that work? Catch me after.
What do you think, people? You're not.
You'll get a prize.
Catch me after 6 o'clock and it'll be wine.
They're giving you. They're giving you a ding dong. I don't know
I got a
why.
ding dong, yay!
Put your email in the chat.
Okay, will do. I've really enjoyed this, and I'll be back.
We do this every week at 3 o'clock Eastern time. And all right, it's my turn.
Don't forget to tell them about Zumba.
Yeah, Zumba, 9:30. Mondays is regular Zumba, like Zumba Gold. And on Wednesdays at 9:30 is Zumba Toning with optional weights. Change the pace of the songs. So sometimes they're all on here. I think I heard them quite a bit this morning. Did a lot of ab work. Sometimes they come on here and whine. Oh, my arms hurt. So, okay, you ready, Deb?
Yeah.
Ah, you! You're not getting anything. Drinking Coke. Who's this? Beth Wilder!
Oh, I'm amazed. Well, there it is. It's a can.
Is there anything in it?
Actually, no, I finished it. But it's just water, sparkling water.
Just sparkling water. What do you think? Siobhan! Siobhan, I'm
She
going to
better
turn
have
you
her
off.
thumbs up.
I'm going to turn you off. What do you think? You guys are not even voting.
She goes along with it 100%.
Looks like it's a tie. It's a tie. What do you think? Eileen, Eileen's giving you applause.
I say yes.
All right, we'll give you a, okay. All right, make sure you put your email in the chat and you get door prizes. I send the door prizes out on Friday mornings. And I will upload this video on Friday mornings. We like to give everybody, thank you, because you were here. So if we made it available too early, we want to get you to come and participate. And Cindy R., you are welcome for the Banyan Batiks. When Patience comes on, oh, is that what they sent you? Let's see. When Banyan Batik sponsors, you think, wow, that's a nice bundle. Sometimes you get bundles. Quilt Woman donates a downloadable pattern every week, or sometimes our sponsors donate something. Our guests donate something. So it's all entirely week by week. So you want to keep coming back with our guests. And I'd like to thank everybody. Please follow us on Facebook. We'll have Mary's contact information. If you'd like to purchase her book or hire her to come to your guild or even appraise your quilt. So we'll put that contact information on our So What page.
Thank you.
So thank you all for coming, and we will see. You got anything else to say, Mary or Deb?
Thank you so much for letting me be here. Appreciate all of you. Stay safe.
We love you, girls.
Thank you.
We love you, girls.
Hey, Linda, can you show those pictures?
What pictures?
The ones I sent you.
You sent them on email. Hang on, I gotta sign on.
Linda asked me to send some pictures, and I sent them to her personal email. So it's on me, but it's pictures of Sashiko that I thought people might be interested in.
Hang on. So we're gonna go there. So, oh, I like that one. Can you see that one?
Yep, it's awesome.
I like that one.
That's a wall piece, and it's only 22 inches square. The others are, I'd call them twin size or throw size quilts.
Cool.
So,
Awesome.
okay,
Okay.
this is fun.
Great. So it is fun. We try to make it fun just so
Yeah.
everybody can get away from the world.
Yep. It's
And we-
great to just see people
Yeah.
rather than
Amen.
just the
Amen.
checkout guy at the grocery store once a week, you know? It's great to see people.
And we like to laugh.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Mary. Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Stevie?
Thanks, Linda. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully, I'll be back next week. Mark it on my calendar, and it's a great way to stay in touch. Nice to see
23rd or the 30th?
Of September. I'm wide open.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all? Yeah. I'll email you and let you know. It was nice to see you, Pepper. You look great.
Thank you. I'm feeling good.
Stay safe and keep those kitties inside. It looks great. It's fun to see it live.
Yes, it is. I'm so grateful for Linda for setting up this format.
I know, it's really fun. My
Yeah.
first.
It is.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Whoop, Pepper signed off. I was going to talk to her.
Okay, just you and me. Okay, I guess I have that's Cindy. Stevie picked Cindy's. That's the same Cindy from before. Cindy Rogue. Must be.
We had a lot of new people. The pickle people didn't come on.
No pickle people, and you didn't have to worry about Savannah. She didn't come back. Without Mark, she had no interest, I guess.
I guess I did tell Mary. Just in case.
Yeah.
I told her. So, all right, no. Everybody's saying great job, I'll be back. Facebook. So I guess it's getting there.
I guess so. I mean,
We had 28.
we had 28, which is about typical, I guess.
Yeah. I guess it's going to depend on the guest.
I guess. Like to be able to say it's, more than that, but as you say, a lot of people are doing a lot of things, and I guess there's other options.
Genomi's going on now, and that Who's a Majiggy global quote thing's going on now. Patty Carey got a designer hat. So this is plenty of different things. That one that keeps signing in from the hospital bed.
Mm-hmm.
She keeps unmuting herself. I have to go in and keep muting her. So, hopefully we'll get some class sign up. All right. We're going to do London broil tonight.
I have to figure out what I'm gonna do. Start defrosting. All righty. I'm gonna go get my dinner together.
I heard some rumblings, but I guess it's stopped. So I'm off tomorrow. I have nothing to do. So I think since he's watching the baseball game after dinner,
Mhm.
I might start cutting the blocks for number one. If I start sewing tomorrow, it'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday before I have to start setting up for Mancuso. So I want to make sure I have the cameras and the step outs and everything. So I want to, when I start doing that, I have to take the book stuff away.
Yeah.
So 4 days, I could get the components. I can't decide whether to do that as a 12-inch block or a 9-inch block.
What did you, who's doing the other one? Are you doing them both?
I'm doing them both.
Oh, then you do whatever you want.
I was thinking about doing 9. Guess I'll do 9. All right. I will talk to you tomorrow.
All righty.
4:04. All right. Later, Gator.
See you tomorrow. All right. Bye.
Bye.